Hello and welcome to Quartzlight, your car brochure channel, and in today's episode we look at the tiny Daihatsu Domino. Welcome back, and if you're new to Quartzlight, we're a car brochure channel here on YouTube looking at car brochures from around the world for the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s. So if you're interested in cars and car brochures, please consider subscribing. So back to today's episode. We're going to look at the tiny little Daihatsu Domino. This is a UK brochure from around about 81, 82. So let's dive straight in and have a look at it now. And here is today's brochure. Well, I say brochure, it's more like a two-sided leaflet, but still, here it is, the Daihatsu Domino. Win the economy game in style, and it's a lovely colourful sheet. So this would have been better known by the Daihatsu Mira, but in the UK we decided to call it the Domino. And the Daihatsu Domino name was used for two generations of the Mira in the UK, and this is the earlier one. I do believe the Dutch market also called these the Domino as well. An interesting little car, sort of K-class car, tiny little engine, never really made any sort of impact on the UK market though. And we're thinking this brochure, although it's not dated, it's going to be around about 1981, 1982. So let's zoom in on some of those images. So zooming straight in there, like I say, nice brochure, very clear pictures in this. We can see just very plain steel wheels on there, little side stripe with that Domino name on the side, and also on that front grille, a strange grille, isn't it? Sort of off to one side with that Domino name on there. I quite like these little cars, I must admit. I wouldn't have probably even noticed them in the 80s, but now looking back, I really do like these K-class cars. So these little interesting whizzy little engines, I think, really fascinate me. Little bit of a zoom in and you can see that sort of offset grille, which is quite unusual, isn't it? And this sort of like side indicator, which almost looks too big for the car, really showing you how small this particular car is. And like I say, right at the back there is that little Domino graphic there at the back. Steering wheel looks very offset on that particular picture, but budget motoring, but rather nice seats, I think. And then when I zoom in a little bit further on there, you can kind of make out there's some kind of, I don't know, is it like a blanking plate for the radio there? This unusual area, very unusual. The dials themselves, no rev counter, but I don't think too many people would really expect that. Horn buttons on that steering wheel, but I do like the colour of this like sort of tan colour. It does remind me of cars in the 80s for sure. And then on the back here we've got a little bit of a write-up about it and the specifications. So let's learn a bit more about the Daihatsu Domino for the UK market. It starts at the top here saying more than a match for its rivals, but like I say, it didn't really have much of an impact in the UK. You have to go a long way to beat the great little Daihatsu Domino for good looks and economy. With the unique 8-year Protect-All warranty against rust and outstanding fuel consumption figures, the new Domino is exceptionally economical to buy and to run. The chic, clean lines and large windows give unrivaled all-round visibility and contain a surprisingly spacious interior with enough head and legroom for 4 adults. The comfortable front and rear passenger seats fold down to take all your luggage with ease through the full depth hatchback, and independent suspension on all 4 wheels provides a smooth and comfortable ride. The new Daihatsu Domino, it's got miles of style. And then we go to the technical specifications. It talks a little bit about the size of the car there, which you can see on the screen. Quite a small little car. Net vehicle weight only 560 kilograms. Enough room for four, although it says crew. A little turning circle, and then let's look at the engine. And there is a little tiny 547cc engine, transversely mounted, water-cooled, 2-cylinder inline 4-cycle overhead camshaft petrol engine. Very interesting little buzzy engine there. I've never driven one, but I'm sure there'd be a lot of fun with not much speed, but nevertheless I think they're quite fun, these little tiny engined cars. What else have we got? Maximum output 27 at 6,000 RPM. Maximum torque it's got on the clutch transmission. It's a 4-speed, although it is a fully synchromesh unit, as you would expect in the 80s, although 81, 82 we're kind of like more thinking about 5 speeds really, aren't they? But I'm sure it was very buzzy, and that's probably all it needed. Rack and pinion steering, and then a little bit of information about the brakes. It looks drum brakes all round, like it looks of it there. So that's pretty interesting. Parking brake on the rear wheels, and then the suspension, front strut type independent coil sprung, and rear semi-trailing type independent coil spring. And we also get this little bit of a sort of diagram here, kind of like showing it with the seats up and the seats down, folded down, even that front seat, which is interesting. So making this tiny little car a very sort of practical car despite its size. And then right down at the bottom here, it does have a bit of an equipment list, and it's not really badly spec'd for what it is really. Heated rear window, 2-speed wipers, fitted carpets, locking petrol cap, cloth upholstery, front and rear mud flaps, twin reversing lights, fold down rear seat, head restraints, reclining front seats, laminated windscreen, and a 3-speed interior fan. And at the end here it says metallic paint, so almost implying that you don't have to pay more for a metallic paint, which sounds pretty good, doesn't it? And then at the bottom of this particular brochure stroke leaflet, it does give you the government fuel consumption figures. So the urban cycle, it's doing 41 miles per gallon, constant 56, it looks like it's doing 50.4 miles per gallon. So not kind of like you would expect it to be pretty economical though, won't you, with that little engine? But you sometimes find these smaller engines actually drink quite a bit of fuel when you start pushing it, but overall not too bad at all. At the bottom there is the Daihatsu UK address at the time. Daihatsu Domino, advanced engineering and built to last, and of course that little Daihatsu badge. Like I say, no date on this particular brochure, but it is going to be around about 81, 82, and this little box at the end is where your dealer stamp would normally be. So there we go, the little Daihatsu Domino, and I kind of really like these. They kind of went more conventional, didn't they? Later on, engine sizes grew, etc. But back then, with that little tiny engine, I think these are my favourites. I think motoring journalists at the time were quite harsh on them, saying things like, this is a pedal car for adults, but looking back, I think they're really interesting cars, and these little buzzy cars with tiny engines, I've always been quite fascinated. Anyway, tell me what you think about this particular car, and also if you do remember these cars, certainly jot that down in the comments. But thank you so much for watching today. If you haven't done already, please do like and subscribe, and we'll see you very soon. Take care and goodbye.